Hi there, welcome to Creative Crochet with Rhonda. Well, I'm guessing you're here because you like to crochet like I do, or maybe you'd like to crochet, but you're intimidated, or maybe you crocheted years ago and you need a refresher course. Well, you've come to the right place because I'm going to show you from beginning to end how to do this, whether you've never done it before. And I was where you are not that long ago, less than 3 years ago, and I've been crocheting incredible things from that point. You can do it too. Just come with me and I will show you. Or maybe you crocheted a long time ago and you forget or you need a refresher. Please come with me. It's an adventure. It's awesome. You'll have fun, and we're going to start right now. Okay, so let's get started. What do you need before you begin? I'm going to show you. And you know, crocheting is one of those hobbies that you can do for a very reasonable cost. With this pandemic going on, it's always good to find something to keep you busy. And this is an awesome hobby. Until you start to really love yarn, then it's out of control because you're going to want to keep buying it. But forget that. You're just starting. When I started, I went to Walmart. I bought one skein, one hook. It wasn't expensive. And I tried it out. And there you go from there. That's how it starts. So let's do this. I'm going to show you what you need to start. And we'll start together. What are the things you need to start crocheting? If you've never crocheted before, these are the things you need. So first of all, you need your yarn. And when you are starting out, you want to start out with a basic yarn. You don't want to start out with something with lots of patterns. You don't want to start out with something with dark colors. You don't want to start out with fuzzy yarn. Just a basic budget yarn. It's something that you'll be able to see your stitches, and it's very important to see well-defined chains and stitches to understand what you're doing. So here's a good example of a yarn that will get you started in learning how to crochet. It's a very basic color, nothing too dark about it, nothing exceptional about it. It's just a solid acrylic yarn, medium weight, no pattern, and just a budget yarn, not fuzzy. This will allow you to notice the definition in your chain, the definition in your stitches, and that's really important. When you're starting out, you have to see everything really clearly. So this says super value, which means it's budget. That's the best way to go. And this one is a medium 4 or worsted weight yarn, and it's suggesting a 5mm hook or an H hook. Hooks are defined in two ways. They're defined with the size, and they're also defined with a letter. So the 5 is an H hook, and it's 5mm. And that's a very standard size, and it will give you a comfortable beginning. Because the one thing that you'll notice when you start, it's just a matter of learning how to hold your hook and hold your yarn to get a good tension, and I'm going to show you how to do all of that. But as a beginner, it will not feel automatic, but that's okay. Once you do get it, you're going to feel really happy, and you'll be able to make a lot of beautiful things. But remember, we're starting at the beginning, so just go easy on yourself and don't try to find a complicated pattern and say, I want to do that right now, because it's not realistic. Let's start with something simple, and I'll have you making something beautiful but simple, and something that you're going to be happy with and proud of. So again, remember, simple yarn, 4 weight, also known as worsted weight. An acrylic is fine, one that is not fuzzy, one that is just a nice solid yarn like this. So you'll need that, you'll need your hook. And there's different types of hooks. I like these hooks with a nice rubber handle. It's comfortable. This is a clover hook. There's very many kinds. You can even get a hook at Walmart. I started out with hooks at Walmart and I was perfectly fine. You're just beginning. And the other thing you'll need is scissors, a darning needle, and stitch markers. And that helps you find out where you are in your project, because sometimes it's really easy to miss your stitches and add on a stitch or leave a stitch out and get your work lopsided. And believe me, my first project was a very lopsided scarf. And you know what? I was still proud of it because I knew I made the effort. And that's the most important thing. Make the effort and see if it works for you. It may not be for everybody, but you got to give yourself a chance, because if you can do it, which I think you can, you're going to love it. And you're going to, it's just such a feeling of self-gratification when you see what you can make. And it doesn't have to be something complicated. Okay, so these little things aside, I am going to show you the very basics. And how we start off is with a chain. That's the very first thing you do. And that's how you start most projects. Typically the projects that are rectangular, square. With the circle, it might be a little bit different, but that's okay. We're not going there yet. We're looking at the chain. And we start off with the chain with a slip knot. When you look at the end, that is considered the tail. When you look at the end that's attached to your yarn, that's called your working yarn, okay? So the first thing we want to do is we want to make a slip knot. The slip knot is what you put on your hook to start your work. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that tail and we're going to bend it upwards like so, while your finger from your right hand is through that hole. Now you're going to turn, so you're twisting your yarn, and then you're going to put your thumb through that hole that you've created, grab that tail, pull it through that loop, and then you're going to tighten your yarn to make a loop. And there's your slip knot. You're going to put your slip knot on your hook, take that tail, pull it, and you'll notice that you've tightened your yarn. And now we're ready to make our chain. But before you do, you need to know how to hold your yarn, and you need to know how to hold your hook. Now, the way I hold my hook is like a knife, and that's one way, the way I'm holding it now. Some people find it comfortable to hold their hook like this, which is like holding a pen. I'm not sure why some people hold it one way, why some people hold it another way, and I'm not sure why I started holding it like a knife, but you're going to find your way that's comfortable for you. So that's number one. Number two is, how do we hold the yarn? We've got to hold the yarn and the working yarn in such a way that we're going to control our tension, because that's really important. You don't want your stitches too tight, and it is typical for beginners to be so tense that they make their stitches tight. But after a while, you are going to see that you start controlling your tension. But the way to put the yarn on your hand is to take that yarn, wrap around your baby finger, bring it up past your middle finger and over top of your pointer finger, and then notice where I grab the yarn. I'm grabbing the yarn right at that slip knot, and now I have this working yarn and I'm controlling the tension. So the first thing we do is take your hook, put it through the yarn, so you've got the yarn over the hook. That's called yarn over. If you hear yarn over, that's all you're doing. You're putting the hook through the yarn and making sure there's yarn over your hook, so you can grab it, pull it up, and pull it through that loop. And now you've got that yarn on your hook. And the one that you had on your hook is down here. That's what made your chain. So let's do another one. Yarn over, pull up a loop, and now we have 2 chains on our hook. Let's make a total of 11. And watch what this thumb does. This thumb will always move up on this chain so that I maintain my control. And this finger will always hold the yarn just so I keep control of that as well. So watch carefully as I do it and try along with me. So again, we have 2. This is going to be 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we've created this little chain right here. I like to call this the belly of the chain because there's 2 sides to a chain. On this side, you'll notice you've got these little V shapes, and each of those V shapes represents 1 chain. So you can look here and count. Now, the yarn that's on your hook does not represent a chain, just whatever is off the hook. So notice here, you'll see the first V, and we'll start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we've got 11 chains. Now let's turn it over and see the other side because it is going to look different. Notice how this side, and I like to call it the back, it has these little bumps, and that also represents 1 chain. So again, we don't count the one on our hook as a chain, but we count the one right below as a chain. So let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 chains on our hook. I like to start the first row starting with these bumps, and I'm going to show you that when we start working with this chain. I would suggest that you just keep going with that. Try to make more. This is the very beginning, and you want to make sure you feel comfortable with the way you're holding your yarn and how you're holding your chain, how you're holding your hook, and just keep trying that. Nothing wrong with just spending a little bit of time doing that. I'm going to tell you something funny. There are 2 ends to your yarn. One is the outer part of your yarn that goes around and around and around. That's the outside. Now, a lot of people do not like working from the outside because it spins your yarn around and it's quite annoying. So they pull it out from inside. Sometimes it's really easy to get that yarn and you just get that end and it's beautiful. Sometimes you get a bunch coming out, and there's a funny name for that. People tend to call that yarn barf. So that's because all this yarn comes out and you have to go searching for that end. But that's just part of crocheting. That's just part of the fun of it. Some people enjoy untangling yarn. Some people do not. But don't worry about that. But anyways, I'm just telling you that now because, of course, I've got this part coming out. Sometimes you'll hear the term frogging, and everybody has to do it. Sometimes you make a mistake in a certain row. You want to take it apart. It's really easy. So here you take this working yarn and you pull it. And you'll notice it comes out 1 chain at a time. And we're going to pull it all apart. Some yarns don't frog as easily as others. That's again why it would be a nice idea to start with budget yarn, acrylic, nothing fancy, solid colors. Stay with a medium color or a bright color, nothing too light, nothing dark, because you need to be able to see the definition of what I just showed you. And when you're using yarns that are too dark, you lose that. When you're using yarns that are fuzzy, you lose that. When you're using yarns that are multicolored, it's very difficult when you're new and you don't want that frustration. You want to make it easy to see everything on your hook. So again, pulling it out, and there we go. So we can start again. I'm going to show you one more time, and then I'm going to ask you to take your time to practice. So again, here's the tail, here's the working yarn, and we're going to make a slip knot. So remember how to do that. Bring that tail up, put your finger in that curve, turn your finger, put your thumb inside, grab the tail, tighten it, and you've got your slip knot. Put your slip knot on your hook, take that tail, pull to tighten, and you're ready to make your chain. Put your yarn over your fingers. Make sure you're holding on, and you're ready to start doing your chain. Okay, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and keep doing that until you feel comfortable. And then I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet. Hi there, thank you for watching my very first absolute beginner tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Whether you are not a beginner and were just curious to see what it was all about, please comment below and let me know what you think. If you are a beginner, I hope you tried making a chain and keep trying, because we're going to move forward with single crochet and a nice project and all kinds of other lessons to help you enjoy what I enjoy. I want to give back to you. So please tell me what you'd like to learn, and I will do my best to provide you with the type of content that you're looking for. And hey, if I can teach you terminology like yarn barf and frogging, why not? And I didn't make it up, but it's all part of the fun. Take care. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now. Come back, like and subscribe.